Hello, everyone. My name is Chris Riley. I'm the Public Engagement Information Manager for the Victor Valley Union High School District, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to our LCAP Community Town Hall on this evening, March 31st, 2022. So we are going to talk a little bit about the LCAP, which is the Local Control and Accountability Plan. You may have heard of that, you may not have heard of it, but we're going to tell you all about it. And we have the perfect person to tell you all about that. And that is our director of the LCAP, Ms. Christine Foote. How are you doing, Ms. Foote?
Hello, Mr. Riley. Thank you for inviting me tonight. I'm looking forward to sharing information with all of our audience members.
Okay. And you want to just go right into the video, or was there anything else you wanted to say to set this up?
Yeah, we have a short video to talk a little bit about the LCAP and what our goals and actions are for the 21-22 school year. We're going to share a little bit of data with you, and the video will wrap up with how you can participate and provide input to the next LCAP, which is being revised for 22-23.
Okay, without further ado, here we go.
Good evening, and welcome to the Local Control and Accountability Plan Town Hall Mid-Year Update for the Victor Valley Union High School District. My name is Christine Foote, and I'm the Director of LCAP. First, some background. What is the Local Control and Accountability Plan and the Local Control Funding Formula? The LCFF is a formula that has been established approximately 12 years ago by Governor Brown. It leveled the playing field for schools. In other words, schools now receive equal amounts of base funding based on their enrollment, and they also receive funding on their unduplicated students, which are English learners, foster youth, and low income. Once the LCFF was established, the district has to write a 3-year plan called the LCAP. This plan drives the budget and provides transparency and promotes community engagement. We do have to measure our plan, and we measure our plan using the California School Dashboard. It is the state accountability system. But the real result is student achievement and the extent to which we are closing that achievement gap for our students. What are our goals and actions for the 21-22 school year in the LCAP? The district has 3 goals at this time. Goal 1 is our base program support. Our base program includes clean campuses, access to technology, sufficient instructional materials, and appropriately credentialed teachers. Goal 2 is our teaching and learning goal. We provide a rich academic program grounded in equity, and we look at middle school and high school success indicators, including instructional support for unduplicated students and making sure our students are ready for college and career and graduation. Goal 3 is our equity-centered or climate and culture goal. We make sure that students have a safe learning environment and that we promote family engagement, student and staff success, and parent involvement. Goal 1 has 8 actions, ranging from clean and updated facilities to providing equipment, resources, and materials to support our unduplicated students. As you can see, these actions cover technology, transportation, and supplementary materials as well. Goal 2 is our teaching and learning goal. There are actually 17 actions, ranging from providing coordinators to ELD development, specific programs for unduplicated students, intervention and credit recovery, special education, a virtual academy, as well as career and technical education programs. We also make sure that we are supporting our English learners in every area, including primary language resources, as well as providing all types of subject matter support for professional learning for our teachers and staff. Goal 3 has 7 actions, ranging from providing social, emotional, and wellness supports to family engagement activities. We make sure we provide for a parent center and family engagement liaison at each school site, and that we provide well-trained security and safety officers because we believe safety standards are important. How will we determine if the LCAP goals and actions are making a positive impact on student achievement? We use a series of data and metrics. Each year, we look at the annual testing by the California Assessment of Student Performance and Progress, or CASP. That is the SBAC that is taken in grades 7, 8, and 11. We look at the California School Dashboard. We look at local performance standards and district social emotional data. This year in the update, we're going to look at graduation rate, chronic absenteeism, suspension and expulsion, and panorama data. The data on this screen comes from the California Department of Education Data Quest. In 2021, we established a baseline in chronic absenteeism, suspension, and expulsion. Then in our LCAP, we set a desired outcome for 23-24. Currently, we are looking at a mid-year update for either 2021 data or 2020 data. As you can see, chronic absenteeism has steadily decreased. You can also see that suspension rate among students has also decreased. Our expulsion rate has gone from 29 students in 2019 to 8 students currently. Here we have graduation rates and college and career rates. Our graduation rates started in 2020 as our baseline. We have a desired outcome and a mid-year update. Graduation rate for all students has increased by almost 1.3 percentage points. The largest gain is in our foster youth. When looking at college and career rates, you can see that we do have some work to do in the area of college entrance completion rates, as well as AP exam passing rates. But our students are very strong in career technical education. This slide contains our panorama surveys given to our students in fall of 2021. We have a climate survey, a well-being survey, and a social-emotional learning survey. As a district, we do fairly well when compared to other districts. But we did have some declines in many areas due to the pandemic and distance learning last year. One bright spot is sense of belonging. Our students do feel that they belong as part of our district, and that area actually went up. When looking at student social-emotional learning data, our students are progressing well. You can see we went up in many areas. The only area we had to decline was in growth mindset. But in general, our students feel that they are well self-managed and that they have good social awareness. The Panorama Student Wellbeing Survey just was given for the first time this year, so this is our baseline. And as you can see, we have some work to do in challenging feelings and positive feelings. But in general, our students feel that they have supportive relationships and they are doing well when compared to other districts. This slide displays our most recent California school dashboard and most recent school year student population data. As you can see, the state and local indicators on the dashboard are chronic absenteeism, suspension rate, graduation rate, the college and career indicator, the state test in ELA and math, and the English learner status. For the 2021 school year, our student population was 10,641, and 88% of our students were considered low income. 12.3% of our students spoke another language prior to English, and we have 1.7% of our students are living in a foster home situation. As an educational partner, your opinion matters. Written feedback on ideas for the draft of the plan or ideas you think would support our goals can be submitted through the district website. The portal is open for comments, and you can go to the bit.ly address on the screen. You may also attend the next virtual town hall on April 12th at 6 p.m. You may also complete the annual Educational Partner Survey starting April 4th. The bit.ly address is also on the screen. You may also attend the public hearing of the LCAP on Thursday, June 16th at 5:30 p.m. If you would like to speak about the LCAP, arrive 15 minutes early to fill out a card. Thank you for your time this evening, and we look forward to hearing from you. If you have any questions, you may also reach out to me at the district office. Once again, my name is Christine Foote, and have a wonderful evening.
Okay. Well, thank you for that very informative video. And is there anything else you wanted to add to that?
The only thing I would like to add is this is a very important process for the district. This plan is required by the County of San Bernardino as well as the state of California. And this plan is very transparent. It drives our budget. It drives all of our services at our school district. So we really want to engage as many educational partners as possible when we do the revision of the plan this year. So we really would like you to provide us any information, any ideas, any thoughts that you may have on what you feel we need to continue to do for our students, or areas that maybe we are missing, or something that you feel that you could add to the plan that we can take to our stakeholders and see if it's something we need to fund or begin in our programs. So if you'd like to email me, I'm going to go ahead and put the email address in the chat. You can go to the bit.ly address and it'll take you to the district website. And it's just a simple form that you fill out. And when you fill it out, it'll come directly to me. And then I can respond to you in writing, which is what is required by law. So if you do email us, I do need to respond to you in writing.
So yeah, if you can go ahead and put that in there in the chat, and that'll go up, I believe, on. Oh, if we can put this in a different spot here.
Okay.
Here's what I'm going to do.
Great.
Because the chat you put it in is a chat that only we see.
Oh,
but
okay.
if we go to comments here.
Thank you.
There we go. Now that will go up. I hope. Yes. So that went up on YouTube and Facebook there. And I don't know, is the thing hot linking in there? Let me try just the link by itself and see like how that works. I mean, I don't know how it's showing up. Yeah.
Well, if they copy and paste it into their URL bar in a web browser.
Yeah, I don't know.
Directly where.
Either way, yes. Like you said, you can copy paste it, or hopefully it's showing up for you as a hot link on your actual YouTube or Facebook chat that you're seeing right now, because we don't see it as such, but hopefully you do. So yes, that is great. And essentially what this is, I mean, this is an opportunity for you, the community, to really have a say, a very important say in what we're doing, how we're spending the money, our objectives, our goals, and how we're carrying those things out. And obviously this was created many years back. When does the LCAP date back to? I remember when I first came into education from the journalism world in 2015, LCAP was still relatively new. It was a little bit before that, right?
No, the 2014-2015 school year was the first iteration of the LCAP. And since then, it's expanded immensely. The format has changed. The way we present the budget has changed. One of the most effective pieces of the LCAP is the budget overview for parents. It's a very nice 2-page document that's on the district website, and it allows you to see exactly what our funding and the majority of where our funding's being spent. So it's actually very nice. It's continuing to evolve. Every year they tend to change the template a little bit, and we have to do an annual update each year as well. So it's very comprehensive, and it really does give you a great idea of the financial aspects and the plans that the district has for our students.
Right. And so, yeah, it's really a great opportunity for those of you who are really invested in your kids' education. And of course, it's not only limited to those of you who have a child in the district. I mean, education is important to the whole community, even those of us who don't have children in the community. It's obviously education can be transformative of a community. And the direction that our district takes may go far beyond your own children when they graduate. We're talking about, long-term changes that can have a positive effect on our community for years to come, we would hope. So I don't see a lot of questions. Now, if you have any questions about what this is, or, what exactly we explained to you, because I know some of it is, as educators are familiar with some of this language, and we're in this district office, we may say things, we may use acronyms or initials and things, and say certain things about budgets and funding, and like just the word LCAP is so common to us, right? We hear it so many times, and there may be people out there who still, maybe you're not wrapping your mind around, like, what the heck is this? So if there's any questions of that nature, we'd be happy to answer them. You can just pop right into the live chat there on YouTube or Facebook. I know we have a few of you with us. We don't have a huge audience, but we have a few of you here watching. So if you do have any of those type of questions, certainly feel free to chime in. And Ms. Foote, I don't know if you have anything else you want to add.
Well, it's really interesting because a lot of families don't understand how we receive funding, and that we are very accountable for the funding that we do receive. And that even though there's a lot of acronyms floating around like ESSER and ARP and things like that, bottom line, it boils down to that we receive state and federal funds. And no matter where the funding comes from, we do have to do grant reporting, we do have to do data reporting, and we are held accountable for how we're spending that money. And so this plan is very important to ensure that we integrate all of those pieces. So we're very excited for the amount of funding that's being provided to education in the state of California. I know Governor Newsom is making a strong effort to put forth many grants. And right now, our current grant that we're going to be embedding in the LCAP is the A through G Completion Improvement Grant. Because again, when you saw that slide of our data with the college entrance requirements, how our students are not making the college entrance requirements, well, this grant is going to help us provide extra supports so we can raise that college going rate. So it's very exciting. It's a very exciting time for California school districts in the area of funding, because there's a lot of opportunity for us.
Right. And so you, as a parent, as a guardian, as just a community member, or as an employee, teacher, whatever it may be, you may have had an opportunity to take a look at the district and say, I wish we had this, or I wish we could do more of this, or wish we could focus our energies and monies in this direction. Today I was out taking some pictures at one of our classes, and it was a gentleman named Brian Geary. I hope I'm not messing up his name. He's a music teacher over at Adelanto High School, and I hope I didn't forget his name. But anyway, he's teaching the kids guitar, right? And they also had they're doing traditional Mexican songs, and they had all of these traditional Mexican instruments. They're like they have this big thing that's almost like a bass guitar, and then this tiny little guitar, and they're doing all this like mariachi stuff, and they played a little bit of it, and it sounded super good. I mean, I was really impressed by how well the kids were playing. But just the first thing that it impressed upon me was they had the money to buy all of this stuff, and that's great that we can give them the opportunity to learn about these different instruments and actually play them. And, every single kid in that class had an instrument to play, and so it's just those type of things. Funding is important. I want to impress upon you that it's not just like this money that just goes into some black hole somewhere. I mean, we want to spend this on ways that are concrete benefit to our students and to our staff and to the community as a whole. So just please take this opportunity to chime in and make your voice heard when it comes to the LCAP.
And Mr. Raleigh, I think the other thing that's really important is we receive state and federal funds, and one of the areas that we receive funding is categorical funding. We receive Title I money for low-income students. We receive Title II money for professional development for our staff. We receive Title III money for English learner programs. We receive Title IV money, which is for that well-rounded education. So those music programs and the AP programs and the dual enrollment that we offer, all of that really contributes to an overarching umbrella of programs and services that we want to provide our students. So what I want to impress upon our audience is that if you feel that there's a gap, or if you feel there's a need because something your child has experienced or you experienced as a student in our educational system, what would you recommend? Because that's important information for us to take back to our stakeholders, take back to our advisory teams. We also ensure that we talk to students. I've completed 7 student forums where I've brought in a random group of students. We've looked at data, we've talked, they've done a survey for me, they've given me information. And so that's been fabulous. I present to parent committees like school site councils and ELACs and DLACs. And we're doing these district advisory committee meetings. So we're really trying to kind of throw a wide net to see how much information and ideas and suggestions we can get back from all of our educational partners, because we really truly believe that your ideas and your lens can help us create a plan that truly meets the needs of our students in the district. So there's no such thing as a bad idea. You just throw it out there. We can take it, we can talk about it, we can research it. And if there's a way we can integrate it and we know it's going to make a difference for our students, we're willing to give it a try, because you never know if something works until you try.
Yeah, now I might have a specific type of suggestion. Like I might say, I'm going to run these things by you and ask you, like, is it LCAP? Is it not LCAP? Is it a comment we want or not? Okay. So let's say number one, I don't think my school has a good enough baseball field. And I'm not saying anything about any of our baseball fields here because I've seen most of them. They look pretty good to me, but I don't know, right? I'm not out there every day. So we need improvement to the baseball field. Is that LCAP or not?
Well, it depends, because goal one is all about, providing a strong base program, clean facilities, everything's working in the facilities. And so if we're putting money into our fields and our tracks and keeping our buildings painted, keeping everything fixed, everything functioning at the school sites, yes, that falls into the LCAP. So if at some point in time we do need to repair a baseball field, then there's money built into the LCAP to make sure that our students have the best facilities possible, because that is part of their well-rounded education. Extracurricular activities, many kids put those on their resumes. They put them on their college applications. We really want our students to experience those activities as well as our academic programs. So yes, there's a place for that in the LCAP. Would we specifically say that? Probably not. We wouldn't say repair baseball fields, but we would put in there, provide facilities and do updates and repairs and upkeep to our facilities for all, athletic purposes and things of that nature.
Okay. So another thing, I think there is kind of a realization these days that we do need to give kids some of those soft skills out there in the workforce, and that there are many practical life things that kids leave school not knowing. In fact, I myself, when I left school, didn't really understand what a mortgage was, or didn't understand much of anything about debt, didn't know how to tie a tie, didn't just so many things I didn't know, right? And so for those kind of practical things like the financial literacy and those and the soft skills, like I said, if I want more of that at my school, is that how does that work into the LCAP? Is that a comment we want to hear for the LCAP?
That type of information, providing those types of courses and services, would start at a school site level. And then if we find a need and a school site or a principal brings it to us and says, hey, we would really like to create like a senior seminar class, and we feel there's a gap in our economics courses, or there's a gap in other courses that we offer our seniors, and we really feel they need these life skills to graduate. Well, then what we would do is we would convene a committee and we would decide whether or not that is a course we'd want to offer. That would not necessarily be something that would be in the LCAP, because the LCAP, especially when you're looking at the 8 state priorities, one of those priorities is priority 2, which is providing a standards-based program based on the California state standards. And as you know, there probably isn't a framework or standards for kind of those kind of life skills that you're talking about. But can we promote something like that? Could we create something like that for our students if we saw a need? Absolutely. We do have that ability and that latitude as a school district to look for what the needs of our students are and create courses or programs to fill those needs. Would it be a class? Maybe. Would it be a program, a volunteer program that they could participate in, or an enrichment program? Maybe. But yes, I mean, when there's a need, we want to provide a service for our students.
Okay, so another big thing, why are kids going to high school in the first place? I mean, they're going to get ready for the workforce and or college, perhaps the military, but some kind of life after high school, obviously. So college readiness and just knowing how to get into college and what to do to get into college, because that's another thing. That's another thing that I feel a lot of young people and their parents too maybe just don't really know a whole lot about. I just think back to when I was, graduating high school and just being completely mystified by the whole thing, right? So what about that, of just college preparedness and just giving them the know-how about applying for college, things like the FAFSA and things of that nature? Is that something that perhaps is germane to the LCAP?
Yes, that is definitely built into the LCAP. One of the things that we've increased is we have career guidance technicians. We have 5 of them, and those 5 career guidance technicians provide that exact type of service. They help families fill out the FAFSA. They help families do college applications. They set up study trips to colleges so students can actually visit those colleges and make some really critical decisions about where they want to go. But then we also have a career technical education program, and we have a director of college and career readiness, and we have a coordinator of CTE. CTE, Career Technical Education, and they work with teachers to create these pathways where students walk away with genuine career skill sets, something that they can leave with right after high school and go into a well-paying job, but that also kind of springboards them into further education. Because a lot of the jobs that you go out there, you don't necessarily walk into a position, an entry-level position that makes a lot of money. But some of our career technical programs can help you do that. So we kind of we've layered in the career, we've layered in the college, we've increased the number of counselors in our school district through our LCAP. We've provided more academic counseling. We've also done things like used our Title IV money to pay for all of our students to take the SAT, which is a college entrance requirement exam. So we do SAT school day. We do PSAT 8-9 for 8th and 9th graders, PSAT 10. We pay for all of our AP exams. So we use our school funding. So every student who takes an AP class in our district can take an AP exam for $5. And I think that's monumental. We are trying to remove barriers and we're trying to open doors for our students to see that there is a possibility for them to go to college or enter into the career that they're really interested in. So their counselors are there to help them. Their teachers are there to help them. Their career guidance technicians are there to help them. So there's a wide range of people that are waiting to provide students support in those areas. Because we do realize that it's a tough decision when you're getting ready to leave high school. It's hard to know exactly what it is that you want to do. So high school kind of gives you that foundation. We're not going to make you an expert in anything. That's what colleges and universities and trade schools are for. But we're going to give you a foundational set of knowledge so that you can make some critical decisions when you leave high school. We want you to master certain concepts because we know those are important for your life, but we also want you to have we want you to dabble in a little bit of everything so that when you leave high school, you maybe can figure out what it is that you want to do as a career and to support yourself as you grow, as you grow older and create your own families and join the community.
Thanks a lot. And, I guess one more thing I'll touch on. I'm just trying to, basically throw out these things that we always tend to hear, right? We hear different concerns, and I try to think of these things as a parent or as a student because, my job is doing this kind of stuff, and so I'm not an educator by trade. I came from the journalism world. So one thing I try to think about it is like, I think as a parent or as a student, like, what would I want? And obviously as a parent, and you can identify with me on this, and any parent can identify with me on this, we want our kids to be safe, right? That's like the number one thing. It's like, even if they didn't learn a thing today, if they got home safe, that's better than nothing, right? And so what about safety? If I have concerns about safety, whatever it may be, like, just more security on campus or COVID-19 or whatever it may be. If I have those safety concerns, is that the type of comment that I can make on the LCAP? Does that pertain to the LCAP?
Absolutely. Goal 3, which is our climate and culture goal, really does delve into student safety, student social emotional wellness, the overall wellness of the staff and everybody at our school sites and in our buildings. Because what's really important is that we use our funding based on the areas of need. So for example, when we received our new ESSER 3 funding, we did decide that it was time to hire more safety officers, more security officers on our campuses. We were having teachers and families saying, the climate is different. We came back from the distance learning and from the pandemic, and the culture on the school campuses there's a little bit more unrest. It's a little different. We feel like we need a little bit more safety, more eyes watching, more ears listening. So we decided to hire 8 more safety officers. We also heard the public when they said, we really want to make sure our schools are clean. So we're going to hire 8 more custodians. We also heard it when our parents and our students were telling us at the end of last year that they were very concerned about the mental health and the social emotional well-being of their students. So we're bringing on board licensed vocational nurses with this money. We've never had a nurse at every school site in Victor Valley, as far as I know, and I've been here 6 years, but now we're going to put one at each school site, an LVN, so they can provide some services. We're also adding 8 mental health clinicians, so 1 at each school site, so that we can provide mental health supports for our students. So all of these new services are coming on board and they're all built into the LCAP, and they came out of the educational partner's voice, the student voice, the parent voice, the family voice, the teacher voice. So we're listening and we're saying, okay, we see a need. We have some funding. It may be for 2 years, maybe for 3 years, but we're going to use that funding. We're going to embed that funding in the LCAP, and we're going to try and provide a much wider set of support services for not only the physical safety of our students, but the social emotional safety and the mental well-being of our students. So absolutely. And we need to bring the drug sniffing dogs back. And what do? We go out there, we start talking to vendors, we start talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I accidentally cut you off. So you were talking about the drug sniffing dog. So is that something we're actually going to be bringing back?
It's a possibility. I do know that we're getting quotes right now to see what their availability is. So sometimes there's a service that we really want to implement, but it's very limited. You know, there's not a lot of people out there that provide services like that. There's usually only kind of 1 or 2 organizations or vendors or, you know, community partners that we can go to and say, hey, we're looking for this service. And so is every other district. So it really does kind of, there's a little bit of competition out there as well.
You know, one of the things, you know, I'm dating myself, I'm aging myself a little bit here, but I remember a generation just before mine, like my older sister, when she went to Apple Valley High School, because I'm from the area, I went to Apple Valley High School, but the generation of kids before me who went to Apple Valley High, there was a smoking area at the high school. There was like a little area where the kids would go and smoke. So I mean, how times have changed, right? So of course, many generations later, young people are smoking cigarettes less and less, which is great news. But what are some of them doing instead? They're vaping. And so we've seen this great rise in vaping. But there's an interesting piece of technology that I heard Ms. Purcell talking about it from Atalanto, called like a halo sensor that detects, it's able to pick up vape or smoke or any of those type of things in the bathroom, because, you know, there may be an issue of, like, you know, say having a camera in the bathroom, like
Yes,
it's a bad area there, but having something that picks up the that smoke or vape, you know, that's potentially a really great thing. And that was something that I kind of a new technology that I just heard about. But those are the kind of ideas, you know, bringing in those type of things to you know, just keep the kids safe and keep them out of trouble, hopefully. So now we do have a couple of comments here, and we have Maria. Well, that's okay. Monte Alegre, maybe. I don't know if I've totally butchered that name, but Maria says, I think you need more professional people to help how to apply for college and financial aid. In other words, counselors, right? Is there anything you want to say about that, Ms. Foote?
Well, we are hiring additional counselors, and we are engaging in a new initiative, and it's going to roll out on April 4th on Monday. The College Next initiative across the state of California started out in Northern California, and we've joined the consortium in Southern California. So we're working with californiacolleges.edu, and we're rolling out a new platform that every student will have access to. And it's really a platform to help them track whether or not they're meeting the college entrance requirements. It's to help them track what's being posted on their transcripts. And it actually has a portal for parents and families to apply for the FAFSA, as well as do a direct apply to colleges and universities at the Cal States and some of the UCs. So it's going to be a really incredible tool. We're training our counselors in it right now. So that's going to be very helpful. We're going to train our career guidance technicians. We're trying to build into possibly our A through G completion improvement grant, hiring more career guidance technicians, because that grant does go until 2025. And we'd like to see if providing more staffing, like Maria Montalegre says, will actually help students apply for college and get into college, apply for the FAFSA and receive money for funding for college. So we're really excited about californiacolleges.edu.
Okay.
Cal State is also providing us with some guidance counselors that they're coming down to our school sites, and they're going to be at your school certain days of the week. You have to find out at your school when they're going to be there. But Cal State is even bringing guidance counselors down to our sites to be able to support students with application to college.
I do also want to mention, we have Cal State coming to the campus. And a pretty cool thing that Victor Valley College has started doing is they're starting to open up these VVC RAM centers. And I was at the grand opening of our first one day before yesterday, was it? Or maybe it was yesterday. It's been a long week, I guess. But we had this VVC RAM center that opened up over at Silverado, and it's just fantastic. I mean, I was over there. I guess I missed an opportunity here to load up a couple of pictures of it and show you guys, but it's really fantastic. I mean, they've got all of this information. They've got these VVC student workers, they call them ambassadors, and they're there to talk to the kids and help them either matriculate or concurrently enroll and get all of this information. And they have a little board there, one of those little electronic, big screens there, where they can communicate directly with some of the faculty and staff there at Victor Valley College if they have questions about, whatever program it may be, paralegal program, for instance, or whatever. They can actually talk directly to an instructor. And so, Victor Valley College is such a great option for kids who maybe are not trying to go directly to a 4-year. And even if you are trying to go to a 4-year, I can tell you personally, that's what I did. I went to Victor Valley College. Why? Because, well, number one, you can stay in the area. Now, as a kid, you might not like that, but I can guarantee you your parents would probably prefer that when you're 18, 19 years old. But number two, the cost. The cost is just, I mean, when you compare it to even a state university is much lower. Compared to a private university, it's, not even close. But you're getting a good education. You're getting a good quality education. And guess what? If you go on and matriculate to a 4-year college, what is your bachelor's degree going to say on it? It's going to say the name of whatever 4-year college you went to. If you have some concern about, being a community college graduate, which in and of itself may be just exactly what you need. Say you want to be in the nursing program or any of the other number of vocational programs they may have. They have an excellent nursing program there. I happen to know that. So Victor Valley College is just a great institution. And the fact that they are available right here on one of our campuses and many more of those to come with all of those resources for you, that's a great thing. And I think those of you who can take advantage of the concurrent enrollment should do so as well if you can. Anyway, I digress. Let's get to this other question we have here because it's now 6:38. And we do want to wrap this up. Jessica Barrientos, who is one of our liaisons, thank you for joining us. She says parent engagement is also very important, as parent liaison need to be available for parents before, during, and after school. Okay, so I happen to know that they are technically part-time employees. They work a bit of a shorter day. That's something that obviously, would be great if we could have them full-time. I personally don't know the inner workings of like how much money we can spend on that or why it was set up that way or how we can change it or any of those type of things. And Ms. Foot, maybe you don't know the inner workings of all that either, but is that something that is pertinent in the LCAP that we can make a comment on in the LCAP?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Family engagement liaisons are part of the LCAP, and they are actually spelled out in the LCAP as one of our main actions, along with the parent centers that we're putting together and the wellness centers that we're putting together. And right now, currently, I believe all the family engagement liaisons are they are funded out of federal funds, which is Title I money. And currently, we have, I would say, a very healthy Title I budget. I think it's definitely something we can look at. We feel that we may need to look at some data and look at some information and maybe survey parents, find out, if this is a service that we need to expand, do we need to make this a full-time position? If that's where the data leads us and that's where the information takes us, then we definitely have to address it. We definitely need to look at that and see, do we need to expand these positions from 6-hour positions to 8-hour positions and turn them into full-time positions like an office assistant or any of the other positions we have serving parents and families at a school site? Definitely.
Fantastic. And definitely. I've, met a lot of our family engagement. Well, I've met all of our family engagement liaisons. I think we have a brand new one over at Hook. Haven't met her yet, but it is really beneficial to have those folks at our sites. There's a lot of things that they can do. They do a lot of help with like the social media, which is something that I do at the district level, but a lot of them are doing that at the site level. And of course, just a lot of other things of just interacting one-to-one with parents and setting up these events like coffee with the principal and those type of things, and just really connecting the school with the community. So we really appreciate the work that they do. So Tamika Ponce, who I know because she's a Lakeview parent and I've seen her at many of these events, she's a very involved parent. Can you offer college workshops for parents and students? More one-on-one meetings with VVC counselors. I was part of one a while ago. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're doing things like the Ram Center at Silverado, and we're going to have more of those. That's just the first one. But as far as VVC, like Lakeview, for instance, I mean, they're right there practically on the VVC campus. I don't know, to be honest, I don't know the extent of our coordination with VVC on these type of things. And Christine, I don't know if you know either. Maybe you can shed some more light on that.
Well, as for college workshops for parents and students, each school site, and me, as I was a former high school principal, I was principal at Wilhelmina Carter High School for 7 years, and each school should be setting up their college workshops. We used to have a freshman parent night, and we used to have a junior parent night, and we would have the counselors do presentations in the classrooms. Counselors would stay in the evenings. The career guidance technicians should be setting up college workshops, and they usually would contact colleges and universities and have them come to the career centers and have them do presentations, and kids can sign up to see a presentation to find out about the application process, find out about tuition, find out about the FAFSA. So really, the college and I would say the workshops that are designed are really done at a school site level. We really don't have anything at a district level because each school site has their own culture and they understand what their students are looking for, what types of schools their students want to attend. And it's up to the counselors and the school site administration and the career guidance technicians to kind of work together to make sure you have all those workshops and things happening at your school site. So if you want one, what I would do is reach out to the school site administration. I'd reach out to the principal. I'd reach out to your student's counselor, say, hey, I really would love to attend a workshop where, college application season was kind of in November-ish, but there's still time. There's still time.
Okay, so again, we have Ms. Monte Alegre, and she says, our kids are applying for college. What happened for the rest? Is there any other programs that can help the kids for real life, like carpenter or welder? Yes. In fact, so when I was out there at Atalanta today, I also visited the construction program, and Mr. Richard Fuali, was telling me a little bit about the things that they're doing there. I was checking out some of the technology that they're using, and the techniques that he's teaching the kids in the construction class are exactly what people are really doing at the job sites. When we were talking about, the way that framing is being done nowadays, the framing of a house, where they used to use a big nail gun, which is like a lethal weapon sometimes, but they use a different type of technology now, which is like it's like a screwdriver, a little bit safer and more efficient. But he's teaching them all this cutting edge stuff, and this is the kind of stuff these kids are familiar with. This, they can walk onto a job site, perhaps right out of high school if they have that opportunity. But if not, at least it sets them up for some further job training after they get out of high school, not necessarily the 4-year college route. So certainly CTE, which is a word or acronym that you hear us use a lot, CTE, Career Technical Education, is an important thing for our district. And it's something that certainly for the length of time that I've been here, we've been trying to expand that as much as possible. And Christine, I know you talked about that a little bit earlier. Maybe you want to expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, career technical education is kind of the term that has replaced vocational education. So when I was in high school, we had vocational education, and that's what we considered like home ec and auto shop and carpentry and things like that. Well, now we call it career technical education, and we receive quite a bit of funding. And what we have is pathways. So what happens is our students take maybe an introductory level class, or what we call a concentrated class, and then they take a capstone class, and then they can do an externship where they can actually go out into the community and work. But every career technical education class is kind of specific to the school site. So for example, down at Victor High, they have a wonderful auto program. So they have Auto 1, Auto 2, and Auto 3, and they do everything from electrical systems, and they have a similar thing at Adelanto. Silverado has an amazing food services program where the kids can learn how everything from pastries to, making 7-course meals, and they do their own version of Student Chopped, which is absolutely fabulous. As a matter of fact, there's one tomorrow, so we're very excited. And all the other high desert food programs come and they compete. They're given a basket of ingredients, just like the TV show, and they have to cook. So it's a lot of fun and they really enjoy it, but they're walking away with some real life experience. So every school site has different career pathways, is what we call them. So you would have to kind of go to each school site or go to the district webpage and see what are the career pathways we offer and what schools they're offered at, because not every school has the facilities to offer, say, auto shop or welding, because really the facilities is a very important piece of it as well.
Right. And I guess one thing I should mention really quickly is that we have 3 schools that we call comprehensive high schools, and that's Victor Valley, Atalanta, and Silverado. And a comprehensive high school, what we mean by comprehensive is that it offers a lot of stuff, right? So we've got career technical education. We've got all of the academic, the A through G requirements that we talk about that, prepare you for a 4-year college. But in addition to that, all of these kind of extracurricular things, sports of every nature, of everything that you can imagine, all kinds of extracurriculars, drama. All 3 of those schools have a performing arts center and a football stadium, and all of those things you can imagine. Now, a place like University Prep, which is what we call a school of choice, and Sims is also a school of choice. What that means, basically, you choose to send your child there. There are certain requirements to get in. There are certain requirements to stay there. It is an academically rigorous environment, and it is focused on particular things. Like, for instance, Sims is focused very much on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. So those schools will offer some extracurricular things as well, some sports, but they don't have the big football stadium and all of that type of stuff. So there's just different things that are offered at different schools. So your CTE offerings are going to be a little bit different and, to be honest, a little bit more limited perhaps at one of those smaller schools, but you don't necessarily go to that school for that purpose. So it's just all about what meets the needs of your particular student. So if they don't have it at one school, maybe that's not the school for you to be at. Maybe you need to look at one of our other schools. I'd say if you look at all 8, 9 of our campuses, at least one of them is going to offer what you need, I hope. All right. So that's our goal. And then Tamika has a comment here. I will reach out. Thank you. I feel if parents understand the possibilities of at least attending VVC, then the students will also feel they can do it. So many don't realize they can attend and earn training certificates and not just a degree. And that's absolutely right. And I talked a little bit about nursing. I mean, there's a lot of careers out there that, it's not necessarily a 4-year degree. Now, like nursing, you can get a 4-year degree, but there's other steps. You can get the registered nurse degree without the 4-year degree. You get the LVN, licensed vocational nurse degree. And let me tell you.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, we can provide a certificate in front medical office and back medical office. So you go in and work as an office assistant and see if you really enjoy working in that type of environment. And then that will propel you into maybe going into a nursing degree of some sort. Definitely.
Right. And let me tell you, nurses, they aren't hurting for work. You will not have trouble finding a job as a nurse, especially now with the COVID and all that. I mean, it's there are jobs and they pay well. So, but anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We were hoping to do this whole thing in a half hour. It's 6:49. So
okay.
We appreciate the comments, and Christine, I'm just going to let you wrap it up with anything else you wanted to add.
Well, I just want to reiterate again that we're going to be putting out an educational partner survey. So, Mr. Riley, I'm going to send that to you through the private chat so you can go ahead and post it in the comments, because I don't seem to have access to that. So that's going to open up on Monday. Okay. And we're hoping everybody will take that survey for us and provide us some strong feedback. And I want you to know that we do appreciate your time and your effort. And it is our privilege as a district to educate your children. Without you, we wouldn't be here. So we really do appreciate the time and effort that you give us as families.
Okay, everybody. Well, thanks a lot for joining us, and have a great night. Bye-bye.
Good night.